What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about this guy, the Fiio Snowsky Echo. I've had it for a couple weeks now. I think it's ready for me to kind of give my overall opinion and review about this guy. First, I want to congratulate Blackblood97 for being the winner of this beautiful Snowsky Echo. I've already contacted him and we have exchanged information, and I will ship this off the moment I am done reviewing this. Congratulations. Thanks again, everybody, for getting me up to 1,000 subscribers. It really means a lot. Before I get too far ahead, I did not update the firmware on this just because I was going to be shipping this off to the winner. I think it's better if he was the one who installs the newest firmware. So all of my tests are based off of the stock firmware that you get when you first get it. Let's mention some specs. The Snowsky Echo is made of aluminum magnesium body. It has a 2.39-inch IPS display. So let's turn this guy on really quick. Really nice display. Pretty quick boot up time too. It has two Cirrus Logic CS43198 DAC chips, one per each channel, and they're capable of delivering a balanced output up to 260 milliwatts. This has an 8 gigabyte internal memory. It takes up to 256 gigabytes. You can't put in a terabyte or 512. I did not try it because I don't have it. At least that's what the spec sheet says. It's capable of having DAC mode, meaning you can connect this directly to your phone, tablet, or whatever. Basically use the sound card or the chips out of this, so that way the music from this will sound better. So it can behave as an external DAC. It's capable of playing formats M4A, MP3, FLAC, WAV, OGG, APE, DSD256. PCM supports 24-bit at 192 kilohertz. It has a 14-hour battery life, supposedly, at 1,100 milliamps. It's Bluetooth capable. For those of you who are interested in connecting their Bluetooth headsets or speakers, this is totally doable. I believe it's only SBC though, so no LDAC support or anything else in terms of Bluetooth codecs. Let's see, the output single-ended is at 120 milliwatts per channel, and in balanced is 260 milliwatts per channel. So you have a little more power out of the balanced connection. This is a 4.4 millimeter connection. This is a 3.5 millimeter connection. It weighs 85 grams, so it's not too bad. I mean, it feels pretty hefty. I really like the weight of this. That was it for the specs. I don't know what processor it's using. I'm not sure if it's like running Linux or Android or some kind of hidden Android. I don't know, but it's pretty quick, pretty snappy. You can go through the menus pretty quick, go back. There's a little bit of delay, like a 1 second delay. Going through the menus, let's go to the music. Play is select. Okay, see there was a little delay there after you hit select. It's not the fastest thing in the world. Let's see. When playing, so let's see how fast it fast forwards. You have to hold the volume switch to change songs. So I'm going to change the song right now. Basically have to hold it 1 second. Here's the play. It's pretty quick. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's not the slowest thing in the world either, especially for it being an unknown OS. Very simple. So here's the main setup menu. You hit select, Bluetooth, screen settings, so you can have your timeout. Let's do that, so that way it doesn't have any timeout. Always on. Let's just have it always on, just for the sake of the video. Shutdown time, you could set the timer. Shutdown settings, you could set the date and time. I didn't set the date and time. Interface style, this is where you're able to set the picture. But I like midnight black, so I'm going back to midnight black. It's a little easier for the camera to pick up. It's not blinding anything. UAC, this is where you can ask it to be a DAC mode or not. Or transfer your files. I transferred my music by switching to computer mode or normal mode, and it picks it up by wire. information. Yeah, I'm still at, you can see my software, I haven't updated the software, so it's still at 1.1.0. I used up most of the memory. You can see I only have a gigabyte, almost 2 gigs left. It tells you all the supports. We went through this on the previous video. Don't really want to talk too much about it again. A little brief menu dive. Now let's talk about the sound quality on this. I've only listened to what I have, which are IEMs, Porta Pros, and my Bear Dynamics and my Focals. Let me show you the Bear Dynamics at least. I have these guys, I listen with these guys. It barely can push it. These are like 80 ohms, basically just at the top, at high gain, at max volume with this. Not a big deal. I don't use this to enjoy music, really. I use this to analyze music, if that makes sense. My Focals are 32 ohms, they sound really good. Generally, I listen to mostly IEMs, especially with this. This sounds identical to the Fiio disc. I can't say for the Mini, but I know I can bring out the comparison sheet of the Mini and the Echo here. I'll put it up right now. It has just some minor upgrades. Maybe like the DAC chip's a little better. It weighs a little more. It generally sounds really good. It's very clear. It's kind of on the bright side. It's not neutral. The sound quality is really good, but there is a sound signature to this, so it's not neutral. It's on the bright side. It has a little bit of oomph on the bass. It's not as colored as the... So this HEXA player is what I consider colored, and some other reviewers that talk about this player have also said it's colored, which is not a bad thing. I use that as leverage to justify where I want to store my music. For example, a lot of my EDM and a lot of my rap and trap music is on this player. It has a lot of bass and it's kind of sparkly on the treble area too. This is similar, not quite as colored as this. The sound is in between the Walkman and the HEXAs. In terms of how neutral the sound is. Walkmans are always neutral, even from minidiscs. The minidiscs, whenever I listen to a minidisc on a Walkman player, it's more neutral versus like when I listen to them on a Sharp player. So Sonys are very neutral, I noticed, which is not a bad thing. I use it to leverage for my strings and my rock music and my normal music. That was a little bit on sound quality. Sound quality is subjective. You know, if something sounds good to you, then it sounds good to you. I can't say that one thing sounds better than the other. But I can say that it's clear, it's balanced. There's no weird channel imbalancing. It's clear at the lowest volume. It's clear at the highest volume. Depending on what you're driving it with, regular headphones and IEMs will be fine. Let's get into some pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. Okay, so the first pro is a little obvious, and I've said it many times. It feels really good in the hand. Its build quality is very solid. There's no shaking. There's no rattling. Here I have the microphone like right here, and you could hear there's no. I'm gonna test the buttons again just to get some ASMR. But yeah, it's sturdy. The buttons I think are plastic. Yeah, the buttons are plastic. I want to say this is a glass display. It's covered right now by a screen protector that I'm not going to remove. I'm just going to leave it as is and give it to the winner. It looks good, build quality, feels great, it's solid. Another pro is it has buttons. We were just playing with them. Easy to use, another one. Not easy when you first pick it up, but when you get like one day of use of it, or not even one day, just a couple hours of it, you start to realize how simple it is. It's just buttons, very simple navigation. It has a very long battery life, according to the specs that I just read out, 14 hours. I've charged it like one time since I got it, and maybe twice. This is a very efficient player. It's got a fast boot up time. So you saw earlier how fast the boot up time was on the screen. So it was like maybe 2-3 seconds to boot up. Definitely a winner. It takes the cake. This guy does not take the cake. Love it, but does not take the cake. What else do we got? It has visualizers. So yes, I think if you want to make something fun, you include visualizers. So if I go over to the menu, select play music style. So this is what I'm talking about. You can change your visualizer. So UV wash style, boom. There we go. This is one of the coolest features. You can set the fast forward and rewind button. You know how you're able to change tracks by pressing the volume button here? Basically, you're able to change the direction that you press. So if you don't like the direction that you have to press to go rewind, then you could change it to go over here. Let me show you really quick. It's the playback menu. The volume button swap right here. So if you hit this, right now it's on mode A. You can switch it to mode B. So now if I switch it to mode B, the buttons up here will change its behavior. I know with the Walkmans, to change the volume, you would have to go up to change the next track, and then down to go to the previous track. But for this one, to change tracks, on default, it's set to go down to change to the next track, and then up for previous track. Some people want to change that, which is a cool option. That leads me to the cons, actually. Con number one is the button option. You know, I just mentioned how nice it is. Well, it's nice. So if you want to change tracks, yes. So you programmed it to change tracks. So now if you hold this, it goes to the next song. But when you have the screen off, the function goes back to default, meaning this doesn't fast forward the song anymore. You're back to the default. But when the screen is back on, you're back to pressing up on the volume. I don't know why it does that. So I don't know, it's a little confusing. I prefer just using everything default so that way you're not confused and you're not going up on accident and going down on accident. So I prefer using everything on default settings. I think it's just software related, and I'm hoping it can be solved via firmware update. Second con, it cannot connect to an external DAC, a better DAC. So let's say if you want to connect it to something like a tube amp DAC, which only accepts USB-C input. You can't do that with this player. You can't connect this to an external DAC. You can with the Fiio disc. Another con is slow when updating the music library. On my previous video, I put in my 256 gigabyte card and it said 6,000, but that's because it had some random other files that it counted, but it's really 4,000, up to maybe 3,000 songs. It took ages to update the library on this. It took a really long time. I didn't want to film it real time, but you can go back to that video and see how long it took to update its library of 3,000 plus songs. So I don't recommend storing a lot of music on this. And if you do, you're going to have to be patient about the initial upload. So if you're going to initially put on 3,000 songs the first go, it's going to take a while. But if you do it in small increments, it won't take that long. I tested the internal memory. I put 150 songs on here, 120, you can see it right there. Even when connecting this directly to my Mac, it took like 10 minutes to put 5 gigs of songs on here. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure I connected to the lightning port side too, which is technically a lot faster than the regular USB-C connection. It's slow at updating the library off of the internal storage or the SD card storage. Here's another con I failed to mention during the initial review. The album artwork you see here is taking a while to upload every time I press the power button. My guess, this is happening because this album artwork is a high resolution photo. It's like a high DPI. And here I'm testing other artworks and they're fine. See, these artworks are not lagging at all because they're probably under 630 DPI. These are Spotify album artworks, so I think they're just the right size for the Fiio. So anything under 600 DPI, 300 DPI is better, but I wouldn't go higher than 600 because it seems to drastically lag the software. This is not really a bummer for me, but I know a lot of people asked if this plays gapless. There's no gapless support. This does not play gapless. Those are the only cons I could really think of. So who is this player for? I want to consider this like an entry-level digital audio player. It has all the files you could think of. It does not support MQA, which is kind of a bummer because I do have some MQA files that should probably be part of the cons actually. But yeah, this is good, solid intro device that can power a lot of headphones from cheap to fairly expensive. You know, these are about 80 bucks. These are about 40 bucks. I don't have Sennheiser HD600, so I can't say if this can power HD600s. These are 35 ohms and these power fine, or these are 32 ohms, I think. power is just fine. Another group of people are people who just want to have physical buttons and no touchscreen. The physical buttons, it's great to just have in your pocket. You don't have to look at it. You know what function is what, and then you don't have to look at this device at all to change its function, unless you want to change shuffle modes or whatever. Who I'd recommend this for are people who enjoy sound quality. It has the sound quality that I approve, that I like. I don't have any issues with the sound quality. I'm kind of a snob when it comes to sound quality. It's a well-rounded device for everybody, I'd say. You know, versus like the phone. Phone is pretty good, pretty decent sound quality. But then again, you're also draining your phone battery if you're wiring anything that's a little hard to drive. So these things are considered kind of difficult to drive. So you would drain your phone a little faster driving something like this. And Bluetooth drains battery quick too. So depends on what kind of device you want to drain your battery from. People who own their music. So if you have a lot of FLAC files, I'd say this is great for you. Versus just storing music on your phone and wasting your phone space, this is just great. Overall thoughts, I think it's a solid player. It sounds good. It's very simple. It looks great. It just feels nice. The buttons kind of have a plasticky sound, but who's listening to it? Are you listening to these buttons in your pocket? I can't say that this is an endgame DAP. It's not an endgame DAP for me because I'm constantly changing and updating my headphones. At some point, I know I'm going to have very difficult headphones to drive, and you know, I'm always changing my gear. So I can't say that this is an endgame DAP. For somebody else, this could be just a buy it once, cry once, and not think about it again. I guess this is another con I should have listed. It's unfortunate that there's no replaceable battery. But it looks like there's screws, so you could do a type of battery replacement if you wanted to. It won't be easy. So yeah, I think this is a cool device. I think it's a very solid unit. Fiio, I think you did a pretty good job on this one. I was hoping for more options, I guess. They updated some things from the Mini that I can see on paper. If there was one thing that I could change, I guess more themes. But you know what? Recently in the community, there's been news of like an update or like a custom firmware where you can flash custom themes and backgrounds to it. I haven't messed with that yet. That sounds really fun. Hopefully the winner of this device gets to mess around with that when he gets it. This is the Fiio Snowsky Echo in green. Thanks for hanging out.